Hey everybody, welcome to a bonus episode. This is not a real release. If this is if you've just discovered the podcast and you come to listen to the latest release, go away.
Oh yeah. This is not for you.
This is not a real episode. We are between seasons and we're just releasing stuff so that there's still content for you. We're between seasons of actual escape rooms. And so here we're just going to talk about some fun stuff. Now, Dani, you had a pitch for what you wanted to talk about this episode.
Well, we've done so many things in various media about, puzzles in all sorts of venues. Like in some of our Patreon content, we've watched escape room sitcom episodes.
Sure.
We've done a lot of reading of actual puzzle books and talked about TV shows and quiz shows and things that we're interested in. I'm sure at some point we must have at least briefly discussed video games.
I'm sure.
But one thing that I sort of thought was a bit of a gap that we haven't done too much discussion on is puzzles in books that are not exclusively puzzle books.
Well, I think that's an easy thing to have skipped over because it sounds very specific.
And yet I've found that a very essential part of my reading growing up.
Sure.
I mean, on the one hand, that's a lot like whodunits. Whodunits are puzzles made fiction.
Whodunits are puzzles in books that are not puzzle books.
But you'll also occasionally find books that are based around the concept of the characters themselves have to solve puzzles to get things done. It doesn't seem to be super common. I would love to hear recommendations from people if you've got them. But we have a couple that we know about. And the first one that I thought, because it was a significant part of my childhood, was Deltora Quest.
Nice.
At least the first 7-book arc of Deltora Quest. There is a lot more since then.
So
I've only read the first 2 arcs.
I think I read some Deltora Quest when I was a kid.
Only some.
I don't know if I read all of it, or if I did, I don't remember it very well.
Okay.
Deltora Quest is by Emily Rodda?
Yes.
Which is not her real name.
Correct.
That is her stage name, her nom de plume.
That's her stage name, but it is a very famous stage name in Australian literature.
I have a question. Is she Australian?
Yes. Well, you know what? I'll double check.
Or is
but
she
I
one
want
of those
to say,
ones where secretly she's British?
I want to say quite confidently she's Australian, but I will double check.
So we'll look up now. And if she is Australian, my question to the audience at large who cannot answer the question:
why is Wikipedia not the first thing that shows up? Are you kidding me? She's very famous. Emily Rodda. Why am I just typing things wrong? Come on.
If she is Australian,
Jennifer Rowe, AC, Australian author.
Does anybody know?
She has crime fiction for adults that's published under her own her real name.
We got to read some adult crime fiction. Emily Rodda.
Dang.
What's her real name?
Jennifer Rowe, born in Sydney, raised on the North Shore, so not far from us at all.
No, but I wonder if anyone outside of Australia knows Deltora Quest. Do Americans read Deltora Quest?
Okay.
Brits read Deltora Quest?
There was a TV show.
There was a TV show of Deltora Quest?
A
Surely
pseudo anime. I've seen a tiny bit of it, and I don't recall anything particularly Australian about it.
Deltora Quest animated series. Deltora Quest. Oh my god, it's a Japanese anime.
It is okay. It's not pseudo anime; it's real anime.
It's real anime. I didn't know there was an anime. No, I did know this. I've seen these images before. 97% likes this show. How funny. Oh, that's fine. Okay, so at least the Japanese know about Deltora Quest.
Some Americans definitely do. I'm on the subreddit.
Oh, cool. Well, okay, so Deltora Quest. Do you want to give, all I would say, if I was trying to tell someone about Deltora Quest, I would say...
This is our book club episode.
They were Australian kids' books about a journey to collect 7 gems, and you knew which book you were up to because the gems were printed on the margin, and if you got to the 7th book, all the gems were present on the margin of the book. And I remember that.
Oh yeah, let me just grab one off the bookshelf. I only have 3 of them on this bookshelf. I didn't do much in the way of owning them. I just got them from the library.
So I can see if I look at the side...
These books are still quite shiny. The pages obviously have a hint of yellow to them, but the books are in very good condition.
You know when you were a kid and books were just we're going to add a little bit of holographic material to the cover.
Just a hint.
This has this on the spine of the book, 3 gems in. I wonder if these were meant to have colours at some point because they have all turned grey.
Oh, wait, really?
There's no colour on those gems anymore. Those are 3 grey gems.
Oh, you're right. That ruby is.
I think originally they
not
were
red.
Let
me compare to the others.
Green. That is definitely 3 colourless, silvery nonsense.
Okay, my books 2 and 4 are in better shape.
Okay,
my book 3 must be the oldest.
That's got some colour on it. That's like a topaz and then a ruby and then a opal and then a sapphire or something like that.
Lapis lazuli.
Or lapis lazuli. But yeah, so these were going through fighting monsters and collecting gems and I guess solving puzzles. I don't remember the puzzles being so explicit in these books. Right. Give me a rundown. What's Deltora Quest?
So, do we need to go into I feel like we should go into the story itself a little bit.
You want to talk about the story of Deltora
Do you know why
Quest?
they're collecting gemstones?
I'm going to try everyone. I'm just trying to remember anything I remember about Deltora Quest.
I have
the main
today
character,
read 2 of the books to refresh my memory a little bit, so I'm much more comfortable. I
want to say the main character is, because I feel like I have looked at some Deltora Quest stuff since being a child.
Yeah.
But I don't know when. I want to say the main character is Prince. His dad was the king. He's got a guy with him, and also they meet up with some girl who has an animal, and they all journey together because the King of Darkness has destroyed the kingdom and they need to get rid of the Dark King. How am I close at all?
Okay, you're on the right sort of track. The first book starts 16 years in the past of what you're talking about.
Okay.
Because it starts with, essentially, you've got these 2 friends, Endon and Jared. Endon is the prince.
Okay.
Jared is his friend. They just grew up together in the palace. Sure. They have spent their entire lives in the palace. And as they grow up, eventually, oh no, the king and the queen tragically die of illness. And at quite a young age, Endon has to take the throne.
Okay.
Whenever someone ascends to the throne, during the coronation ceremony, they put on the magical belt of Deltora.
The 7 gems of Deltora?
The 7 gems belt.
Okay,
so
they put it on, become king.
It glows brightly, it's all great. That belt magically is the thing that protects their land of Deltora from the Shadow Lord in the north.
I was pretty close.
Well,
why can't he just wear the belt and protect them from the Shadowlands?
Because it has been so long since the danger and so long since the original uniting of the 7 kingdoms that brought this belt and all of this magic together. It's magic itself, but it's also a symbol of unity of the country.
Okay.
And it has just been so long, they've gotten lazy. Several generations ago, one of the kings just sort of stopped wearing it every now and again because he was fat.
Oh, no.
And it was just a bit uncomfortable.
Okay.
And then next generation, just sort of stopped wearing it so much it became kind of ceremonial until eventually the official rule of the palace was you wear it once at coronation, then it gets locked away.
Oh, and they go to bring it out of its locked up area and it's not there?
The reason for this is generations of king's advisors have been working for the Shadow Lord this entire time, and they have been striving to weaken the influence of the royal family, weaken their power, make it so that if the Shadow Lord finally decides to strike, they cannot fight back. They don't have the means to do it. Not just because they don't have the magic belt, but through significant trickery throughout the land of making the people not united anymore. So, for example, they're not allowed to leave the palace. That's because, from their point of view, they are seeing an optical illusion of the city being wonderful and prosperous, and it is dying. They have no contact with the outside lands. Everyone's trying to contact them, say, hey, our city is in ruins. King, can you help us? And the evil advisors just send back generic, hey, acknowledged notes. And everything is in tatters. Everyone hates the king. They have rejected generations of kings. The belt won't even work for them anymore.
No, so I thought they had to go around collecting gems, but he has all the gems, so he has to go around collecting support?
This is still 16 years ago.
Danny, can you jump 16 years into the future, please?
No, because at this point, 16 years ago, Shadow Lord goes, great, now's the time. He sends his 7 evil giant bird servants to steal the belt, steal the gems, all the guards get murdered and things like that, and scatter them throughout Deltora. They can't actually leave Deltora, apparently. That will cause death to whoever's carrying them. So the evil advisor is going to kill King Endon, kill his wife who is pregnant, so that the line also ends. So even if anyone gathers up the gems, it doesn't matter. His ancient ancestor, the first king of Deltora, was the one who built the belt. He was a blacksmith and
a beltsmith.
Gathered up all of the 7 tribes to take their famous gemstones and unite them.
Nice.
So it's basically it's one of these standard royal lineage stories where if you don't have the royal line, everything's screwed.
Okay.
So, Jared and Endon eventually work together once they realize how horribly betrayed they've been. Sean kills the evil advisor, which is great.
Good.
They decide, okay, we've got to do something.
Wait, who kills the evil advisor?
Oh, Sean, sorry, the
Who's
queen.
Sean? Okay, that's the queen. I was like, who the hell's Sean?
They realize that now the Shadow Lord is in full attack mode. They are going to have to hide, just go into hiding and figure out some sort of plan to build things up again. However, Jared, the friend, knows that Endon can't do this on his own because the people have already rejected him. He was, even though he's pretty young, a rejected king. So the belt won't work for him. He can't defeat the Shadow Lord's magic. The only one with any chance left is the unborn heir. So they have to hide this heir away somewhere in Deltora so that the Shadow Lord cannot get to him. And then at some point in the future, Jared will go and gather the gems himself.
Okay.
16 years pass before they get a chance. It's only 16 years later that the Shadow Lord's power is so total over this land that he decides he's going to focus on another land now. So he's still got Deltora, but he's going to focus somewhere else.
Yeah, he's got to go consume something else and add it to his empire.
Exactly. Jared has been like a blacksmith this entire time and a little bit before.
Sure.
He's been a blacksmith.
Jared, the friend of the king.
Yes, he's been a blacksmith for, I want to say, 23 years at this point.
Cool.
He married the old blacksmith of the town's daughter, and they now have a 16-year-old son, Leaf. It is, as far as I understand, pronounced Leaf. It's unusually spelled for that name. L-I-E-F, not E-I-F.
Emily, you're a fool.
It's distinctly Leaf. And Jared was planning on going and doing all this himself, but when Leaf was 10, Jared got a tree branch fell on him and injured him horribly.
Poor Jared.
So
where's the king at this point? Is he dead?
King nowhere.
He just disappeared?
Jared helped him and Shan escape to go into hiding so that the heir could be born, and that's the last we've heard.
All right. Good on you, king. Lazy
So,
guy.
on his 16th birthday, they basically tell Leaf, hey, it's up to you now.
Now, Dani, you're telling me all this stuff about Deltora Quest, but you've introduced this as a puzzle series that helps you get into puzzles.
Page 3 of the first book has, hey, look, Endon and Jared were so happy growing up together, they even wrote in code to each other. Here's an example of one of their codes. But let's take this one. I've got the second book in front of me right now.
Second book.
As an example, the first...
Called?
That's also a good point. They have to go through a bunch of terrible lands. Here is a list of all of the terrible, scary locations that the gemstones are hidden in throughout the land.
The Forests of Silence. The Lake of Tears. City of the Rats. The Shifting Sands. Dread Mountain. The Maze of the Beast. The Valley of the Lost.
And then
Return to Del.
Del being the main city that they came
Are
from.
there secrets hidden in these titles?
Not as far as I know exactly.
Oh, you handed to me like they were going to be puzzles.
No, I just wanted you to read to see if any sparked your memory.
Shifting Sands, I feel, is something. Yeah, and you've shown me a picture of a giant bug man hanging out in the sands.
The first one I actually read was book 3, City of Rats, because I don't start anything in order.
Foolish. Wild.
So yeah, they travel to all these places. But for instance, in the book, Lake of Tears, before they get there, they're just walking around and they find an obstacle. A golden-eyed giant unblinking on guard in front of a bridge.
Hello.
And he specifically says, you must answer my question. If you answer correctly, you may pass. If you answer wrongly, I must kill you.
Okay.
So
we get a puzzle.
For example, Jasmine, their female companion that they met in Forest of Silence, wild forest girl.
Wild forest girl has an animal with her.
She has 2 animals with her.
Has 2 animals with her. A flying bison and a little lemur.
Yeah, let's go with that. The cursed giant puts 11 sticks on the ground and just gives her that.
Change 11 to 9 without removing any sticks, he said harshly.
Mm-hmm.
So we can rearrange these into a maths equation. Rearrange it so it says, what am I trying to make? 9? It says 4 plus 5.
Even simpler.
Oh, you can just make it say the word 9.
Yeah.
You just rearrange those 11 sticks into the 3 for an N, 1 for a 1, 3 for an N, and 4 for an E.
Mm-hmm. And then, so Jasmine answers that, gets to pass. Very simple one for the next one.
So a little puzzle that you have to do. Yeah. Interesting. And I wonder how much, how precise they had to be. That you have the puzzle on one page and you have to physically turn the page to get to the solution.
I have a very distinct point to mention about that.
Mention it now.
It will come. So then Barda, their guard adult companion, gets a question.
I thought they were traveling with Jared when you said his name. It was such a familiar name. So where'd they get Barda from?
He was an ex-palace guard at the same sort of time. He was the son of their sort of nanny caretaker.
Okay.
but he fled when everything started going down.
Sure.
And he pretended to be a beggar and worked with Jared after Jared's injury to keep Leaf safe.
Okay, good on him. Good on you, Barter. Everybody likes you.
So then Barter gets the question, what is it that a beggar has that a rich man needs and that the dead eat?
Oh, hold on. I can answer that riddle.
Sure.
What does a beggar have? Nothing. And a rich man needs nothing.
Yeah, it was just nothing.
And the dead eat
Simple.
nothing. I know how riddles work, everybody.
And then Leaf gets asked this question, and the guard even says, it's long, so to be fair, I'll ask it twice.
It's like an episode of Lateral.
It's a rhyme. Lots of rhymes that
Give me the
go
rhyme.
on in these books. Thagan gulps her favourite food in her cave with all her brood. Hot tot Ginjod, Firefly Zanzod, Pick Snick Lunlod, and the dreaded Ichabod. Each child holds a slimy toad. On each toad squirm 2 fat grubs. On each grub ride 2 fleas brave. How many living in Thagan's cave?
Oh, it's like one of those when I was walking to St. Ives.
Exactly.
But I want to say no, 1 or 0, but can you repeat the riddle?
By all means, take a look.
Oh, I'll repeat the riddle.
Thagan, in this book, is the villain. She is just an evil sorceress.
Thagan gulps her favourite food in her cave with all her brood. So that implies that she's there in her cave with all of her brood.
Mm.
Hot tot gin jod, fee fly zanzod, pick snick lun lod, and the dreaded Ichabod. Each child holds a slimy toad. On each toad squirms 2 fat grubs. On each grub ride 2 fleas brave. How many living in Thagan's cave? I wanted to say like no 1 or 1, but it seemed like they're all in the cave, and it feels like I just need to add all these things up and just do some maths.
And Leaf is very happy about that because he's one of few people, because his dad grew up in the palace, he actually got to be educated as a child.
Nice. It looks like 13 kids. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13. 13 kids. Each has a toad, so now we got 26 people.
Mhm.
On each toad, there's 2 fat grubs, so that's another 26, so we're at 52. On each grub rides 2 fleas brave, that's another 52, so we're at 104.
Mhm.
And Thagan, 105.
You might read on and see that Leaf almost forgets Thagan.
Then his heart thudded painfully as, just in time, he realized he had nearly made a mistake. He had forgotten to add Thagan herself. Almost panting at the near disaster, he scrambled to his feet. 105! He gasped. The man's strange eyes seemed to flash. You have not answered well, he said. But the sum is correct, Leaf stammered. The children, the toads, the grubs, and the fleas, and Thagan herself add up to 105. Yes, but you have forgotten Thagan's favourite food, which is a raven swallowed alive. It was in the cave also, alive in her belly. The answer is 106. Bad question, guy. Unless I was allowed to ask questions, I should have said, what's her favourite food? Who would have said live raven? Come on, he was setting him up to fail.
That's what Leaf says. He protests, and
I
the
would
guardian of the bridge says, what you know or do not know is not my concern.
Yeah, you knew that fleas were alive.
But yeah, so
What a rude guy.
it comes out that he is a slave under Thagan's spell. Like, cursed to be doing this.
And you just know if you'd answered 106, he would have been like, no, her favourite food is spaghetti. It's 105, idiot. I think it's an unwinnable situation.
How does Leaf get out of this?
How does Leaf get out of it? Kills Thagan, and now the answer is 0.
The man says, all right, you're so interested in truth and lies and deceit and all that. One last game.
One last game.
You give a statement. If it's true, I'll strangle you to death, and if it's false, I'll cut off your head.
So it's you will cut off my head.
Yep.
But if it's true, how can it be false? But if it's false, how can it be true?
And that rescues him from his curse, being able to do that.
Nice.
But what I wanted to...
So it's just full of these sort of classic riddles and puzzles and little things
They
presented within
definitely
the story.
show up a lot, yes. But there is one that I particularly wanted to talk about.
Okay, what do you want to talk
One
about?
specific book.
We're talking about Deltora Quest.
And sadly, it's right near the end. I want to talk about The Valley of the Lost.
Okay. Yay, though I walked through the Valley of the Lost.
They're up to the last gemstone. They've got 6 out of 7 at this point.
Nice.
All they need left is the diamond.
Okay, all they need is a diamond.
So they go into the Valley of the Lost, and if this sort of scenario gives you anything.
Sphinx.
They come across, they're being watched by what seem like spirits. It's just a creepy old forest.
Okay.
And then they see a man, a big, shadowy, cloaked man with red eyes, who invites him into his home. They are also very much physically compelled to follow him.
Sure. They're not fools. They're victims of magic.
But he welcomes them. He says, of course, I'm the guardian. And
Of
I
the
really
diamond?
like games.
Oh. And you have to play a game of chess with death.
Welcome to my glass house. Here are my servants. Let me tell you a little bit about my evil monster servants. And now take a look in that room. There is the diamond. If you can match wits with me and win, it's yours.
Okay.
You have to solve my puzzles. I'm just going to go sleep. You'll have until this candle burns out.
It was just an escape room? It just had an escape room in it?
Very much so.
That's wild. These books were from like 2000. And I had a fun, that's literally an escape room. I love it.
Yeah, that's exactly the feel of it. That's why I wanted to jump to that one. Now, the puzzles are very simple. Like they only cover about 30 pages of book for them to get through.
Are we going to try and do that escape room right now?
I am
Are you going to run me through the Deltora Quest escape? Hey, everybody, I take it back. This isn't a bonus episode. This was just a 22-minute preamble into another escape room. Give it to me.
All right. So, all they get told, first of all, is you've got a few clues. You're trying to find out my name,
Okay.
he says. And
I'll write down Rumpelstiltskin and I'll cross it out when I'm wrong.
fair enough. And he just says, hey, first clue is actually in this very room. It's right in front of your nose. And then he goes off to sleep.
What? Okay.
And literally they spend an hour searching the room for a single clue.
Sure.
So
okay.
they fail the escape room
It's an
quite
escape
badly.
room.
But luckily this candle is very generous.
Yeah.
Where might you look in this room?
It's right.
It's a study.
What did he say? He said it was in front of my nose.
Basically, it's right in front of their nose. In one way, it is hidden. In another, it is as plain as the nose on your face.
Oh, that's what he says.
Yes,
okay,
that
it's
is
hidden,
specifically
but
what
also
it
as plain as the nose on my face.
Mhm.
It is the nose on my face. And what is it? It's the first part of
Just
the,
the
oh, it's
first
just the first
clue.
puzzle.
Yeah.
It's the air. Can I hear it? Can I listen out for something? It's
It is.
hidden from my sight, but it's pretty plain if you pay attention to it.
And you do have to remember there is magic in these, so to an
yeah.
extent, things can be a bit flumbled.
What's as plain as the nose on my face, but also hidden? Back of my head. I look at the back. Everyone looks at the back of the other person's head.
You're definitely like overthinking these things. These are still children puzzles.
Yeah, true, but I guess I'm dumber than a kid.
Let's look at a mirror.
Oh, okay.
And there's a sort of magic mirror in the room.
So I can see the nose on my face by looking in a mirror.
Exactly.
Okay, that's fair. It's
So
sort of hidden.
They
but
stare
plain.
at the mirror, and then the reflection disappears and words appear.
And the words say,
My secret name awaits within. My first, the first.
this is just
of,
an escape room.
My first, the first of pride's great sin. My second and my last begin the sum of errors in the twin. My third begins a sparkle bright, the treasure pure, the point of light. My fourth, the sum of happiness for those who try my name to guess.
I want to say I've seen this exact riddle somewhere.
You've probably read it.
Yeah.
You probably read this book.
No, I think recently
Interesting.
someone making fun of the concept of riddles may have just used this riddle from Deltora Quest.
Maybe.
I want to see it written down.
Of course.
Oh, and it's in a picture, everybody. It's in the book in a little picture.
They do their pictures in these.
Danny, I think you just write Deltora Quest novels.
I agree. I love this. This is very much. I want to release something like this.
Who's it? Do it. Write a Deltora Quest. But call it Belbora Guest.
I've got some little planning notes for something similar.
Call it Shoulder Muscle or Mission. That's Deltora Quest.
Oh, I see.
My secret name awaits within. My first, the first of pride's great sin. Makes me want to think the first letter is P. The
Sure.
first of pride. It's just a cryptic crossword. My second and my last begin the sum of errors in the twin. ERRORS, errors. The sum of errors in the twin. I don't know. I don't get it. My third begins a sparkle bright, like a star. The treasure pure, the point of light. My fourth, the sum of happiness for those who try my name to guess. That's a tough puzzle. I don't get it.
Yeah, again,
I
this
don't
is
get
the
it.
first clue. This is not something that is, like, this is just meant to point them to other
Okay,
places in
okay.
the house. One thing that I will tell you, you noted Pride.
Yep.
Did you know it had a capital P?
It did have a capital P. Was there a demon called Pride?
He has 4 monsters with him, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about these 4
Give
monsters.
me some monster biographies.
Give me a moment to go back to it. It starts quite a bit earlier. So, much earlier. Several pages earlier, I want to say. 20 pages earlier about the Guardian. I mentioned that he has some monster servants.
Yep.
Here are my pets, my companions. I didn't want to alarm you. They protect me, they keep me company. Their names are Pride, Envy, Hate, and Greed.
Ooh, okay.
Their names are a little joke of mine, for though each has their faults, I have mentioned, none has that fault after which it is named.
So Pride's sin isn't pride. Pride's sin will be envy or something.
And throughout the dinner, he just throws out little hints.
Facts about
that
them.
they then have to remember.
That's great.
He says, hate is not envious either, not at all, but more importantly, never hated in its life. You see, isn't it funny?
So hate's not hatred, is not hateful or envious.
Sometimes my pets do not agree. They need a firm hand. The envious one and the proud one are both very afraid of greed, but they'll fight if they have to.
Okay, but it also means that greed isn't envious or greed. In fact, if we're limited to those 4, I think that means greed is hateful.
I think you're right. One more. And one more again. After dinner, he chuckles and says, envy once nearly killed the greedy one at a dinner such as this.
Oh, so envy's not greedy. And I've forgotten what the first clue was, but maybe they helped as well.
And so yeah, that's what's going on here. That's what they need to be able to figure out.
That's so cool.
For that one.
That's so cool. This is a legitimate, this is a Dani escape room.
It's just full logic puzzle, but they were being given the clues before they knew what the game was that they were playing.
And luckily, as the reader, you can go back and reread them and make your own note. Do you have any memory of getting out a notebook and making your own notes to do this? Because it feels like you almost need to.
I don't think I did.
I love it.
I don't know how much restraint I had at that point to not just read ahead, because
that's fair.
Fast reader. And when you're that young, you're not thinking too hard about what level of what will give you the most satisfaction.
True.
I think just having the answers was enough for me then. But all right, so do you feel like that was enough information for you to figure it out?
If I could remember it all. You said there were 4 guys. There's pride,
hate.
Envy,
hate, and greed.
I'm going to try and do it without notes.
Okay.
Pride, envy, hate, greed.
Mm-hmm.
But they don't have those things.
Mm-hmm.
And then we know that greed, pride, envy, hate, greed doesn't have greed, also didn't have any hatred or envy.
Let's double check. So, greed is not greedy, pride is not proud, envy is not envious, hate not hateful, but also not envious. That was one thing we knew.
Great. So hate, pride, envy, hate, greed. Hate.
But yeah, the envious
has either greed or pride.
The envious one and the proud one are both very afraid of greed.
Cool. So greed is hateful.
Great.
Greed has hate. Hate has either greed or pride.
And envy once nearly killed the greedy one at a dinner such as this.
Okay, envy is not envious, not prideful, because and not greedy. So not hateful and not greedy. So envy has pride.
Okay.
Envy has pride. Greed has
hate.
So hate must have. Oh no. Hate can't be hateful, can't be prideful.
And was also told that it was not envious.
Not envious. So it is greedy, and pride is envious.
Nice.
Oh gosh. So pride, sin is envy. So the first letter is E.
Brilliant.
Far out, everybody. Puzzles.
That took them a while to get because they were going, oh no, we've got to go and fight those monsters or something now, don't we?
Nope.
And then they realized it when Leaf just suddenly went, oh, I don't want to fight greed. And they went, why? Then, oh, I guess I just sort of worked out he must have been the hateful one.
That's fun. I like it. That's really cool.
All right.
So what are the twins' errors?
Well, I will say that's the last one they managed to find, to figure out. So we'll go straight to some of the others. For example, the very first one they solve is my fourth, the sum of happiness, for those who try my name to guess.
No happiness, 0.
Yeah, just
so
an
it's
O.
an O.
Yep, exactly. And from there,
I think that could be a telltale Australianism because we do this. Apparently, other people don't.
O and zero.
Of saying O for
Yeah.
zero. Like if we give a number, we'll say like 0402 and part of a phone number. It's like that's weird. You say 0402. But we say O. So I wonder if that doesn't translate as well into other places.
To an extent, that might be
Okay, so the
true.
fourth letter is O. So it's E something something O.
Next one they notice is on some stained glass. They notice this pattern.
Ooh, diamond, star, diamond, diamond, star, 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 diamond, 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 star, diamond, diamond, blank.
You did wonder if one of the poem lines was about stars.
I did.
So yeah, don't read any other dialogue. Just look at the picture. Although I do think that the actual answers may well be you have to flip a page in order to get an answer.
Yeah. Interesting. I don't know. It's like, what am I trying to do? Fill in the final square?
Yes.
So it's diamond, star, diamond, diamond, then all stars, then all diamonds, and then star, diamond, diamond. That's interesting.
Yeah, I will say the characters say it seems to be a nonsense pattern.
It does seem to be a nonsense pattern.
And there is one thing that one of them points out, maybe we should be thinking of it along these lines, which is not something that we would normally think of. This is a thing that Barda says. Remember, Barda used to be a palace guard. And he says, there are 16 things here. 16 is an important formation number in the palace.
Oh, is it?
Where, because it's so divisible, like you can break off into smaller chunks because of it.
Yeah. Like the top left is 1 diamond, then 2 diamonds, then 3 diamonds, and the bottom could be 4 diamonds.
Precisely.
So we put another diamond in there, and it's about the corners all having more and more diamonds.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fun. Possibly a little arbitrary, but that's fine.
Well, I will come back to that if you remind me.
Hey, Danny.
Yeah?
Could you come back to it? Why isn't it arbitrary?
I'll get that after we've done the final puzzle.
All right.
Eventually, they have so little time
What does that
left.
mean? The letter is D?
Yes.
Okay.
They have so little time left that they decide we're just going to smash our way into the room with the diamond in it. They pick up a table, they get ready to smash it, and only then does Leaf see the twins puzzle that's being talked about.
Fun. What twins are there? Are there fountains outside?
On the mat, on the rug on which the table sat that they picked up, he sees this picture,
Oh.
and right beside it, this picture.
Oh, and it's just to spot the difference?
On 2 different pages in this version.
Oh, no.
So you can't look at them at the same time.
Oh, I hate it. And it's how many differences?
Yes.
It's not even find 5 differences. Find out how many differences there are,
Yep.
and then take the first letter.
Yep.
Now, their name so far is E blank D
O.
O
Blank.
blank.
Yep.
So that blank, those blanks will be the same letter.
Yes.
So that might help.
For sure. This
Like it's
is
probably not X docs.
this is the sort of puzzle.
Not that any number starts
the
with
sort
X.
of escape room thing where you go, someone could brute force this.
Hellable.
I do grant you,
Enbon.
you're technically looking
For a name. It could be anything. Yeah,
in
it's a fancy
world,
guy's name.
you are looking for any name in existence.
And some of these names are
As a
leaf
reader,
misspelled
this
and-
is not a problem.
Isn't it?
Yep.
What? I'm a dummy.
See what you can do with spotting the difference. I will say that when I was doing this today, I
1,
missed 2, and one of them was the big one that the characters missed.
2.
Tell me, what do you see?
I see belt missing, or belt tassel is on the wrong side.
Mm.
I see that instead of leaves, there are flowers above his
Nice.
head. The colours of the mushrooms.
Nice.
That's 3.
Not colours, just pattern.
The pattern on
This
the
is black and
mushrooms.
white.
There's something sitting on the rock by his feet. I don't know what it is, but it's this thing.
Oh, isn't that like a bag of wheat or something?
Oh, it's about the openness of the bag. There's a tassel on it. Okay, so that's 5 differences then, right?
4, I think.
1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, yeah, 4 differences. What's he holding? He's missing a sheaf of wheat in his hand.
Nice.
So that's 5 differences. Number of bees
Nice.
is 6 differences. I don't know whether the extent of all the flowers on the tree is different.
I believe all flowers replaced by berries is one difference.
You're right. Okay, so I'm still at 6. I don't see
There is one straightforward one that you're missing and 2 challenging ones.
the bird's got a little tuft.
Good.
So that's
7.
7.
Which means I just told you how many there were, but that's okay.
What else am I missing?
Top left corner.
There's a missing branch.
Yeah,
That's
it looks
sort of what I
like
said.
it goes into the floweriness.
Yeah, but it's actually, that's different from berries to flowers.
I lost that.
So that's 8. And what's the final one?
So the characters end up at this point where they go, great, it's 8. Let's put E's in there. And then last second, Leaf spots one more, and I did not remember it.
Oh no, what is it, everybody?
It is about the man.
Is about the man. Not about his eyebrows. Doesn't appear to be about his beard. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6. Is it about his missing fingers or something? No.
You don't need to count anything.
His elbow's weird. No, his elbow's always weird. He's got. What's up with this man?
Look at his hands.
Yeah.
Look at his bird hand.
I am looking at his bird hand. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Don't need to count anything.
Oh, it's too high.
The height of the hand. It's not subtle.
No, once you see it, it's obvious. The hand is exactly the same. The bird is exactly the same, except for its little tuft. But on one, it's clearly above his belt line, and the other one, it's level with his belt line.
Mm-hmm.
That's wild. Good on you, Leaf. You're great at puzzle solving. 9. So Endon?
Endon, the king.
Oh,
Missing
Endon
king.
was the name of the king.
Yes.
I forgot that the king's name was Endon.
Which is a thing, the whole point of this. And again, further spoilers in case this wasn't spoiled enough
everybody.
for you.
Spoilers for Deltora Quest's finish.
It's not Endon. It is a Shadow Lord ploy to basically make whoever is searching for the diamond of the Deltora belt feel like their quest is useless. Endon has already fallen to evil. So this entire thing is worthless. Just give up.
But it's not true. It's not Endon. It's Bremburn.
His name is Fardeep.
Fardeep.
But yeah, so that's how. And going back to the palace formations, it's meant to be. There are a couple of suggestions, and that being one of them, that whoever this dude is has relationship to the kingdom. So to try to make it more believable that this is the king.
Ah, interesting.
So that's why they went with that.
Nice. That's
But
really
yeah,
cool.
so
This just got an escape room in it.
This game is just you are trapped and trying to get to your goal, and there is a man who challenges you to puzzles or death.
That's really fun.
But yeah, I specifically wanted to bring up this book because it's the escape roomiest one.
It's the escape roomiest one.
The rest have a couple of puzzles here and there, but this one was thoroughly based on it.
Yeah. I mean, I can completely see how that, as a childhood book, translated to the sort of stuff that you do in escape room
I think so.
design now. You're writing a story with puzzles in it that happen on they have a similar sort of feel. Like it's little they're like classic puzzles woven into a story like that. Before escape rooms were even a thing. So good on you, Emily Rodder.
Everyone needs some introduction to that truth or lies paradox idea of how to kill a robot, and apparently Lake of Tears was mine.
Yeah. That's really cool. What a fun! I knew that they were little adventure stories. I'd forgotten how explicitly puzzly they were. How much they were just like, here's.
I have no idea how much the anime kept of this.
I hope heaps. I hope it was a pure puzzle anime. Obviously, though, that's a scene in that book. It's like 30 pages of them solving puzzles. I mean, how long is the book? It's a kid's book.
The whole book, they're between 110 and 120 pages.
It's like a third of the.
Okay, so like I said, there was 20
puzzles.
pages of them being drip-fed clues and explained what they were going to do by this dude. So yeah, maybe 50 pages of the book was exclusively in this area.
That's fun.
And then the last 20 pages or whatever were the resolution of everything after that.
How often would you say a Deltora Quest character solves their problems through classic fantasy violence compared to puzzle solving? Do they ever hit a monster with a sword?
Totally, but less than you'd think. There's a lot of running away.
Run away! Solve a puzzle and run away!
Villains definitely end up dead, but how much do they actively murder? Not quite as much. But sometimes it's, for example, the forest guardian, the evil forest guardian in the first book, the way they kill that. Jasmine is Wild Forest Girl. She is essentially a Lord of the Rings elf. Because she asked one of the trees, she basically bargained with one of the trees saying, hey, if you drop one of your branches on this guy, the forest will be uncursed. So a tree sacrifices a limb and crushes the dude.
Is the guy from Forest of Silence really wearing red
Reddish
armor?
gold armor? Yeah.
Oh, I remember this guy. I remember that dude. Spiky helmet?
Let's find
Spiky
out.
helmet,
I
I think.
got a picture of him right
Red armor,
here.
spiky helmet?
Can find it. Give me my book. There he is.
Yeah, I know that guy. That's a classic image of my youth, is that Deltora Quest dude with his hand out like, stop, you may not pass. Spiky horn. Yeah, I know that. I know that guy. Oh, man. What fun books. Good on you, Deltora Quest. If you haven't read Deltora Quest, you probably don't need to. I don't know. You're an adult, maybe. If you want to, get your kids into Deltora Quest. If you've got what would you say, like a 10-year-old child?
10 is pretty appropriate.
Get him into Deltora
You could start him
Quest.
a bit earlier than that.
Be like, you should read this book. It's the greatest book in the world.
For example, I believe we read it together in year 5, so when most people were 10.
Nice.
But a lot of us had already read the entire series at that point.
Fair. Well, go get your 10-year-olds into Deltora Quest. Get your 9-year-olds into Deltora Quest. That's real cool.
I think it's fun.
I think it's great.
And yeah, they're not overly grim, but the entire story is very mystery-based because it is absolutely where is Endon and his heir, where are they hidden in the world, and what sort of mysteries can be passed. So it's got a lot of overarching story mystery to it as well. And puzzles are hidden everywhere. Something that you said earlier was anagrams are very much a thing that they like to incorporate into their stories. Characters using disguises by rearranging letters in their name, but the bad guys taking advantage of that and pretending so that you see an anagram and think, oh, that's important. And then it's the bad guys messing with you.
I love that.
The bad guy, give him props. You never see him in this series, but he's very good at his psychological craziness.
I love it. Oh, fantastic. Well, there you go, everybody. That was a fun bonus episode. I hope you enjoyed us talking about Deltora Quest. I loved it. I had a heap of fun. That's
I was
really
interested to see how much you remembered it.
Not much, because I don't remember my life. But that's just my problem.
I'll have to read all the follow-up series because after this one...
You'll have to read the modern adult murder mysteries.
I'll definitely have to do those. I'm really excited.
Yeah, that's brilliant.
But yeah, so there was this one. This was just an 8-book series. I think I said 7, but that's just because there were 7 gemstones.
7 gems,
8 books.
one resolution.
Then there's one where they're gathering pieces of a dragon flute, which is only 3 or 4 pieces.
Ooh,
I read
fun.
all of that one. And then it kept going in chunks after that, and I have no idea where it goes.
Brilliant. All right, well, you keep reading Deltora Quest. And have a lot of fun with your life.
No, Australian classic.
Thank you, everybody, for listening. If you hadn't heard of Deltora Quest, grab it. Go to a library and grab some Deltora Quest and read it yourself, or read it with your kids, or get your kids to read it, or give it to a child that you see on the street. Be like, you boy, what day is it? What, today, sir? It's the day I start reading Deltora Quest. Thank you. And then you give them the book, and it all works out where.
Yeah, man, that was good luck for that kid. It was the day that they started reading Deltora Quest. Before they met you, what was their plan?
I don't know.
Ooh.
But they woke up knowing. They knew that they would read Deltora Quest that day. Thank you very much for listening. And there's 3 more episodes of releases that'll just be like bonus.
More book club, that sort of
just
thing.
talking about whatever. And then the new season starts. It's on its way. It's been made. A couple episodes recorded but not edited. And so it's gone well. Thank you, everybody, for listening. And go enjoy life.
Mm-hmm.
Just do it. Just enjoy life. It's there to be enjoyed.
While you can.
While you can. Before we get you.